Hi guys, now we are working on one of the tasks, that is start date, due date and QA sign off date is mandatory before an issue type transitions to in progress. So any issue type, if once it is created once it is in to do state, if you want it to transition, or if you're trying to transition it to in progress, they are requesting that start date, due date and sign off date should be filled. Without that, it should not allow you to transition to in progress. Okay, now this can be achieved using two options. You can either use conditions, you can use validators. We'll see how. We will probably use validator so that it throws an error when you click on transition. So we'll quickly go through and check what and how it can be done and what needs to be tweaked. So we'll quickly go into workflow, and please note that we are changing it in workflow, and you need to be extremely careful while making changes to your workflow, because there are chances that your workflow might be assigned or associated to multiple projects. So there might be situation that where more than one project is associated with this workflow, and if you change anything in that, both the projects will get affected. So try to ensure that you check this. Okay, now so okay, start date, due date and QA sign off date. If you click here, let's click on edit first. Okay, now if you click here, you have conditions and you can validators. You can use either one to try and achieve what you're trying to do here. Now before we do all this, we first need to check if we actually have those fields in any of those screens. So I'll just open a new tab, or probably I'll just use this one, and I'll just try to create an epic. We'll see. Looks like we don't have any of these fields, but few of the fields I have previously created for another project, so we'll just try to reuse them. So we'll go to summary, and then under screens you have fields. Let's see. So I need to make changes on the screens. Okay, so I'll open this too, because this is a different scheme and this is a different scheme. So inside this I should have the screen, default issue screen, and this is bug screen. Okay, now I'll just add the fields I need. Start date, this is there. I'll add this one here as well, so it's in the same order. Start date, and then I have due date. We'll see. Yeah, we have it. Due date, and then we have QA sign off date. Okay, now because we have QA sign off date, I'll also add QA just in case if you need it. Okay, so I'll just put it like this, and then I'll add here QA lead, and then QA sign off date. So looks like we are done. I'll just go to this place, and then I'll just try to create. We should have all things here. Okay, Now if you see here, I did add QA sign off date, but you don't see it here. One of the reasons could be the context of the field. So I will try to see if I have anything that needs to be done there. So we'll go here and we'll go to custom fields, and then I'll check QA sign off date. Now let's see, edit details, and then oh no, not this, QA sign off date, edit context. Here if you see, I have set it up for all the issue types, but I have only selected one project. So this is the only context where this field will appear, even if you add it to the screen. So what I will do is I'll just change the context. Okay, I'll just add more than one project. So I'll just select global context and I'll select any issue types. So let's see. So I've done this, so it should effect now, and we'll try to see if we can see it. Okay, now you see it, right? Okay, now what this request is the fields start date, due date and QA sign off date. These three fields needs to be necessary. It is mandatory before the issue can go into in progress status. Okay, so we'll try to see what we should do. Okay, so from any status to go to in progress, we have to write a validator. So we'll just add a validator. We'll click on add validator. Now we'll just select field required validator, and then we'll click add, and then we'll add the fields that we need. Okay, so we have due date, and then we have start date, and then we have QA sign off date. Okay, and default behavior is to apply the context settings, means we will validator but having no valid context. Check thus you might know the context. So I'll just add it like this, and I'll click add. Okay, I'll just open it once again to see if I have an option to write an error message. Okay, so I'll just write an error message. So because I'm just adding one validator for 3, so what I'll do is I'll just write a generic error message. What it should be is, please fill the required fields before transitioning to in progress status. I made a mistake here, so I'll just correct it. Check due date QA date and start date. Okay, now I'll just update it, and then I'll publish the draft, and I don't need to take the backup. Okay, this is done. Okay, now this one I just did it for different this thing for the validator. You can achieve similar thing by using condition as well. The link is dead because I just published the workflow after editing, So that's the reason it's giving this error. But anyway, we'll just check if what we have done is working or not. So this is epic 2 in this project. I'll just write the same thing here. I will leave it empty, everything else. So this is the one that we have created just now. So this is the epic. Let's see if I can transition this from to do to in progress. Okay, you see, you got an error message stating that please fill the required fields before transitioning to in progress status. Check due date, QA sign off date, and start date. Let's see. I have QA sign off date for tomorrow. Let's see if I can transition. No, it will not allow. Let's see, I'll add it, then we'll see. In progress, it still doesn't allow. Where is the QA sign off date, due date, right? We should have a due date somewhere here. It is here. I'll just put it as 21st of September, and then I'll just click on in progress. Now if you see, it has successfully transitioned to in progress. So unless you give these three you fill these three fields, it will not allow you to transition to the next status, or whichever status you've selected for the condition or the validator. This is how it can be achieved. I hope you understood it, and if you have any questions, please comment so that I'll check and I'll respond. And I hope you have a great day, morning, evening, good day, good evening, whatever it is for you. Thank you.